Welcome back, everyone, to this special edition of the It's Personal podcast. We are talking to Diamond Ledger Leisa Reid today, and I am so excited to dive into all things speaking and monetization while speaking. This is going to be such a value burst for you all. So, help me welcome Leisa. Please introduce yourself and tell me who you are, what you do.
Oh, Carrie, I'm so excited to be on your show. And my name's Leisa Reid. I'm the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now and the CEO of the International Speaker Network. So if your psychic senses are picking up that I work with speakers, you are correct. But not just speakers, really professionals who want to take the stage so they can really attract their high level clients, make that five figures from stage in an hour or multiple five figures. I mean, why limit it to just one five figure? And so I help people create their signature talks so they can attract those ideal clients and then help them along the way as the journey continues and they are able to enroll clients on a regular basis.
I love that. This topic is near and dear to my heart. I firmly believe like getting on stages and knowing how to turn the audience into clients is the number one skill set that every business owner needs. So tell me, how did public speaking is the number one fear that everyone has. So tell me how you became so comfortable on stage. Like, what was your journey to not just book stages, but teach others how to do it?
Well, I think that that is true. A lot of people say that. I don't know if it's true anymore now with all the things that we have with lives and videos and TikToks and whatnot. I think maybe it's they'll have to reevaluate that poll. Are people still afraid of public speaking? I don't know. But for me, I don't ever remember feeling that fear of public speaking. And my first big talk was actually in junior high in front of my entire school, which is not the most, I mean, it's like an awkward time in life. I didn't feel awkward
Scariest
at the
time
time,
ever.
but yeah, it's like a scary audience. They're not the most forgiving audience. And me and another student were tapped to give a presentation on seatbelt safety, which, 13-year-olds are dying to hear about seatbelt safety of their favorite topic. But I remember we brought in my dad, like we met with him. I mean, 12 or however old we are. And we met him at the library and we had like a strategy session about how to make this talk, fun and interesting. And we put our heads together and we practiced it. And it was really fun. So I literally had my speaking coach, my dad, without realizing I had a speaking coach. And he didn't charge us, thank goodness. And I wasn't, although I was nervous, I wasn't petrified. And I always felt comfortable being in that teacher role, which is really, the expert standing in front of the room. So when I think of public speaking, I don't really think of it as being a speaker. I think of it as being the expert who's got some knowledge that's valuable to share. And I offer that to others who maybe have that nervousness. I'm like, well, do you know a lot about something? Are you an expert in something? Could you teach someone something that's valuable? Because then it really lowers that anxiety, it lowers that nervousness because then you're like, "Oh, well yeah, I could put something together." And that would be really helpful for people. So that's a long way of saying I don't have a fear of public speaking.
I actually love that take on public speaking because, it's like if you're not on stage, there are so many times just in day-to-day life that we're teaching people someone or something and we're talking about something we know. And to like take this big spotlight off of, being on stage and saying, "Well, what do you want to teach other people?" What do you know about? What do you want to be known for? It just takes that pressure off. I will never remember or never remember. I'll never forget a time when I was a healthcare executive and we were at this board meeting and the CEO whispered in my ear literally like 2 minutes before the board meeting. He's like, "Hey, Carrie, talk about this one thing. Can you just like give us a 10-minute thing on the subject?" And I knew nothing about the subject. I didn't know what he was talking about. And I mean, I knew the concept, but it was like my team who knew all the details. And I had to get up in front of the board. And as an executive, you speak all the time, and I was always comfortable speaking. But when you are asked to talk about something you don't know,
That's
that's when it's
scary.
terrifying.
That
So
is scary.
maybe that's where the fear comes from. So I assume you help draw out that topic and that expertise from your clients. How do you do
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. And yeah, back to that too. Yeah, when most of those fears come from like when you're a kid and you're called on the carpet to like do the read out loud or do the math problem and you don't know the answer, that's when the fear kicks in and it's like, oh, I never want to go through this again. So that's,
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense that no one wants to get up there and be in the spotlight when you aren't confident with what you're talking about. But how do I draw that out? Really, we have this beautiful interaction. I have this beautiful interaction with my clients when we're developing their signature talk. And I tell them, listen, I'm going to be listening not just with my ears, but with my eyes, with my heart, with my soul, with my intuition. And we are going to collaborate together to find that wisdom that's deep within your soul that you're dying to tell people about,
Mm.
that's your own take on something. Like, for example, I've worked with lots of different coaches over the years, and sometimes they'll lean on, the coaching certification program that they learned. And I'm like, no, I get that you learned that program, but you came in with your wisdom, your experience, your take on that. The clients that you work with, let's really talk about that piece. And then that makes it more unique. It's like your fingerprint. And it's not going to sound boring like the same old, same old. And I'm like the girlfriend when you go shopping. I'm not going to let you walk out of the store with an outfit that doesn't look good on you, right? With all the love in my heart, I'm going to say, okay, let's keep trying on some outfits
Yeah.
until we get
Yes.
the one that makes you feel like $1 million.
First of all, thank you for stopping them from believing that they have to regurgitate someone else's work.
100%.
That is my biggest pet peeve in the coaching industry is just like creating clones of each other. And then everyone saying how unique and category of one they are. And the fact of the matter is like everyone has their unique perspective because everyone has gone through different things in their lives. We all have a unique lens, and I love that you help your clients draw out that lens because that's the thing that's going to make them money. It's not the certification, it's not the letters behind their name, it's that unique lens. And nobody's doing that. So I really appreciate your take on that. So what is your unique lens that you bring to all of this? I think I'll preface that question with, I'm a firm believer that those hard things we go through, the adversity, it feels so hard in the moment, but it does end up being our superpower. So, can you share a little bit about your journey and some of the hard things that kind of informed and gave you authority maybe later on?
Yeah, I have so many ways I could answer that. What comes to mind is how I got started as a speaker. It's interesting because I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in speech communication. I even taught interpersonal communication when I was 22 years old at the university I was getting my master's at. And so there's always been this like, oh, just this desire to do this. But then that went on ice for a couple decades. I didn't become a speaker literally until I was 40 years old. So I can relate to putting your dreams on hold or shushing them or just going, okay, that's not going to make sense. I don't know how to work that. Like, how do I become a speech communicator? Like, I'm at 24 years old. Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Like, it wasn't, this is the 90s. There weren't a lot of coaches. I was like, I got to go get a regular job, looking through the classified. So I've been through that journey and many, many other journeys and pitfalls along the way to get to that. Oh, now I'm a speaker. Even when I became a speaker, it was for another company, which I was totally fine with. I believed and still believe in what they do. It's personal development. They said, we want you to go out and speak to as many people as possible, as many groups as possible, and bring in clients. I said, perfect. I would love that. I believe in this work. I love speaking. I'm not afraid to, pick up that phone and call. And so I did. that very first year, I booked 83 speaking engagements. Woo, mic drop.
Wow.
And the weirdness of that, at the time, I didn't feel like it was enough. I didn't feel like I was doing anything noteworthy or amazing. I was just head down, calloused fingers from the cold calling, like just going out there and doing it every day. Sometimes I would have 7 presentations in a month, sometimes 2 or 3 in one day. And the cool thing about all of that is when I opened the company Get Speaking Gigs Now, I had already given like 200 presentations, brought in tons of clients, sold from stage, put your credit card information right here. I'm not leaving it, and done the quote unquote hard things. And I really knew the struggles of someone getting up on stage to all different types of audiences, the struggle of getting lost, having a flat tire, the projector blowing up, the audience being deadpan, nothing, having big goose eggs, like all the things. I know how hard it is. So I thought, how can I shortcut this for other people? How can we minimize the hard times and increase the levels of success and decrease the amount of cold calling and increase the results?
That is so good because you truly did it the hard way. The way no one wants to
I
do
know.
cold
Why did I
calling.
make it so hard?
Because we all have to do it the hard way to find the path that is easier, that then we can help others do it faster than we did, right? I mean, it makes sense, but I love that you had that experience knowing that that kind of sucked and you found a new way to do it. And I know you teach your clients a new way. So when I met you, Leisa, you had mentioned you had been on like 600 stages or something, which is
Yeah.
an incredible number. I mean, if you are ever wondering if Leisa is an expert in getting you on stages and getting clients from stages, like that's a huge number. And I think this also speaks to the power of having a signature talk that is your expertise. Because once you have that asset, like you can landing a stage, you have the confidence to land stage. You don't have to wonder what you're going to talk about. So I think I love that you have this process with clients that you draw out their expertise and you help them create that signature talk. But can you talk about how your process is unique for getting on those stages, for really helping them not just get on any stage, but the stages that turn into clients? How is your process different than the cold calling and what everyone else says to do?
Yeah, there's different strategies, and I don't think people think of it that way. They think, "Oh, I want to be a paid speaker." And I'm like, "Well, that's one strategy, but you can probably make more money if your focus isn't becoming a paid speaker, but your focus is let me get in front of the right audience. Maybe it's paid, maybe it's not, but I'm sure in front of the right audience with the right talk, with the right offer, because that's where you're going to make the money. Not so much, don't worry about the speaker fee at the front end. Think of, am I in the right room and can make double, triple, quadruple more, 10 times more than that speaker fee would be? That is where the real results lie. Um, so what I'm a big fan of is let's not waste time. Let's really clarify what's your aligned stage strategy look like so that you can identify those stages for years to come, not just for the next 90 days, 6 months, a year, but like ongoing. And I can say I've been doing this over 10 years. I know what stages I want to be on and what stages I don't want to be on. Sometimes I'm a little gray and I'm like, and I'll do a little muscle testing to see like, should I be on this or should I not be on this? Anyway, I was going to say something else, but I'll just keep on track. So it's about really getting clear what would light you up. Who are your ideal clients, prospective clients? Where are they sitting? And what rooms do you need to be in? What does that look like? Is it virtual? Is it in person? Do you live in a big city? Okay, let's tap into the low-hanging fruit in that big city. Or you near a big city, or you like to travel, you don't like to travel. You've got responsibilities in your home and you want to stay at home, okay, great. Then let's have a virtual strategy. You want a little bit of mix of both. Okay, let's do a mix of both. And it's not, just to clarify, I'm not a booking agent. I'm empowering you to identify which places are best for you so that you don't need a booking agent. Or if you decide you want to grow and move on forward, you can get a booking agent for those paid speaking opportunities. So it's really getting clear on your speaking strategy.
Yeah, and I think, when I hear you talk about it, it's when you have a talk, when you have an offer, and when you are have the speaking strategy that puts you on the right stage in front of the right audience, that is a recipe to grow your business without the social media overwhelm, without cold outreach. And it really feels like this shortcut. What do you see as the biggest mistake that people make when they start, like, as business owners, they start giving talks, they start speaking at summits, or they just are trying to get their message out there? What do you hear from your people before they work with you that just is a very common mistake and maybe a way of thinking that owners have around speaking?
I think that one of the biggest mistakes, and I don't know if men do this as much as women. I work with a lot of women, so maybe men are doing this too, and I'm just not hearing it. But they say, I'm going to pay my dues or I'm going to get my name out there. I'm just getting some visibility. And they're not realizing that even if it's your very first stage, you could still get clients. So they're not necessarily setting themselves up to get clients. They're just working on the message. And I'm like, that's part of it. But it's kind of like, and I don't even know much about football, but it's like getting it all the way over there, but just not getting it over the line, right? Like that
Whatever
in very
line that
important,
is.
that in very important line that counts as a touchdown. You could get all the way down the field up to the line. If you don't go over the line, that is not a touchdown. So it's the same with speaking. You could give the best talk in the whole wide world with this lots of value, but if the prospective clients don't see how they could work with you or how it would be valuable to connect with you because you forgot to give your offer, or you didn't even think about it, there's no plan in place, that's the same as not crossing that touchdown line. I can't believe I'm giving a football example because I literally don't know anything about football, but I do know that touchdowns are important.
Ah, that's hilarious. I mean, I think that is so true. People say they just want to be visible because they're scared to say they just want clients. And it's a really weird thing. I agree with you. I do think this is something that happens with women more so with men, because men just are like, okay, what's the logical approach to make more money? And women have the emotion wrapped up in it, which is also our superpower, but it can definitely stand in the way. And so I always challenge people. So why do you want this? So why do you want that? And it's like they can't say, because I
They're like,
want more
I
money.
want to make an impact. I want to have a purpose. I need to help the world. And I'm like, and do you, and I, so I'll say with all the love of my heart, I'm like, is this, a business goal of your, like, are you financially independent from another source, or are you needing to bring in money from this business? And they're like, oh yeah, yeah, I need to make money. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's okay to say that, like, you're in business,
Yes.
you need to stay in business. So
I actually love that you asked that question. Are you financially independent from another
yeah, I'm
source?
like, are
Because
we
that's
doing this
like,
just for fun, or
yeah,
which is
yeah.
fine?
Is this just a hobby? Because so many women approach this as a hobby, approach their business in general, but then also they're so focused on the speaking aspect of it
Mhm.
that they don't even think about the monetization afterwards. They don't even think about the end game. And I love that you start with that end game in mind when you're creating their talk and their stage strategy. It's so important. And I don't think there's sure a lot of people that are speaker coaches, but I don't know of anyone who's talking about the monetization of your signature talk. And I think it's such a key approach. So, for those people who are scared to talk about money, who are scared of sales, who are like, okay, I'll get on stage, but I don't know, I don't want to feel salesy.
Hmm.
What piece of advice would you have for those people?
I agree. I don't want you to get on stage and feel salesy or the audience to feel that that was salesy. So, what I love to say, and my goal is we want to make an offer that you love so much you want to marry it. Like you are so in love with it and so giving. Like, this is an invitation that I would love to give to you. And if, and really be, it's almost like being attached and detached at the same time. Like, you're attached to the love you have for your offer, and in your heart, you know this will help people, but you're also detached to if they accept it or not. Like, it's here, it's an invitation, but I'm not going to force you to say yes. I'm not going to trick you into saying yes. I'm not going to manipulate you into saying yes because that would make it feel salesy and icky. And that's what we're not going for. There's plenty of
Mhm.
opportunities for you to be in those experiences. I mean, I get them on LinkedIn all the time. I'm like, oh, geez. And I don't want anyone to feel that way. And I don't think the people that I work with want anyone to feel like that either. But we
Yeah.
do have
And
to, be in relationship with our offerings.
absolutely. I love that. I love that. And it's a strategy to the best speakers in the world are monetizing their talk.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
not just paid speakers.
No,
And, even from the TEDx stage, which is a definite no no, you are not selling anything from that TEDx stage. There are ways to talk about your authority that still attract clients.
absolutely.
And so, there are strategies within a signature talk that take your clients through, from audience to client. So, I think it's really important for people to understand that this is why they need to get into a container like yours, an offer like yours, to really be strategic in their talk. They're not just delivering an academic talk that's just giving value. Yes, they are giving value, but the strategies that are laced in are what gives them sales in their business, and it's okay to want
Absolutely.
more sales.
It's okay to want more sales and it's okay to be who you are. I think that's another mistake that people make is like, well, I have to follow this, which is where we can get dangerous with AI. It's like AI is telling you to do X, Y, and Z and talk about X, Y, and Z, and you can lose yourself. I just was in an argument with my AI the other day. I'm like, no, no, you're making this too complicated. Like, here's just what I need. So we can't lose sight of our humanness and who we are and our unique, kind of going back to the unique fingerprint that we have. And so it's important to really be in line with what you're offering, who you are. You don't need to be anyone else because the people who are attracted to your style, humor, personality, knowledge, the way in which you move will come to you. You probably don't want to
Mhm.
work with people who don't appreciate that about you anyway, because it'll just be a slog.
Totally. It's our imperfections that actually attract people. And oh my God, if someone is using AI to create their signature talk, they will not close clients. End of story. Like
Well, and they'll
it's
also just try to memorize the words that don't really feel like in their bones, which is
yes.
where it starts to become false and it's so perfect. And I'm not buying perfection.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that because it isn't just the words. It's like the feeling behind the words. And as a speaker, like believing that every word and every sentence is your own, is your unique thought, has a value and a purpose, and you just deliver it so much more powerfully. And it is the energy that sells. It's the energy that brings people through that emotional journey. And so if we're just memorizing a talk that AI gave us, it is just a waste of time. Don't even bother. I could go on and on about that piece. So this has been super helpful. I am, like I said, a super fan of what you do. I think it's just so, so important. If someone wants to continue the conversation with you or really get a sneak peek into your style, where can we send them? Do you have anything that they can look at?
Absolutely. You can go to getspeakinggigsnow.com/tips. That gives you 5 top tips to get more speaking gigs now. So again, that's getspeakinggigsnow.com/tips. I imagine it'll also be in the show notes for you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Leisa. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom with everyone else. Is there any more parting words that we didn't get to that you think are important that the audience should hear?
I would say for anyone in business, well, anyone in general, do what makes your heart sing.
I love that. Do what makes your heart sing. And on that note, thank you all for being here and definitely reach out to Leisa if you are looking to close more clients from stage. All right. Thanks for being here. And thank you, Leisa, for your time.